people? Welcome to the second episode of the Paradero Podcast. I'm joined by my co host Suku. I'm your host Ramon, and we have a great show for you today. Today's menu is this one. We'll talk about the draw versus Querétaro by the men's team on Friday night, the loss on the Copa Max versus Zacatepec on Wednesday. We have some reactions by Coach Espinosa after the game versus Zacatepec. Afterwards, we'll go into the women's team loss in the Clásico Tapatío versus Chivas last Saturday and a quick look into their next match, a tough one, as they will travel to Monterrey to face the reigning champions Tigres. Not an easy game for sure. Finally, we'll close this episode with a preview of the America versus Atlas game on week 2 of the Apertura 2018 season this Saturday night at the Azteca Stadium. We are very excited to have episode 2 being recorded. How are you doing, Suku?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Not a great week for any Atlas team for sure, but we're still doing this, and it's barely the beginning of the season. We hope both teams can play better and get better results.
Yeah, we're hopeful that both teams will right their respective ships. It's only been a couple of weeks for the women's team and a couple days for the men's team. We'll start this episode of the Paradero Podcast with the draw in week 1 for the men's team against Querétaro, a 0-0 disappointing draw. A game in which, to be honest, Atlas deserved a little more. I mean, they had several chances to take the victory, to take the points, the win, but they just couldn't capitalize on their chances. They hit the post 3 times, and they also had a penalty kick. Minutes right after the end of the match, right before the end of the match. I'm sorry. Penalty kick that was converted unsuccessfully by Juan Pablo Vigon, the captain of the team. His penalty was saved by Querétaro's goalkeeper Thiago Volpi, who had a decent game. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that draw against Gallos Blancos?
Definitely disappointed. Atlas had so much chances. Like 3 or 4 balls on the crossbar, I think. Uh, Definitely that penalty kick was the most clear chance for Atlas to take the lead. I was surprised Bigon took that penalty, but him being the captain, he maybe was a little too excited to take the decisions, and was also his birthday.
Yeah. He looked like a lot like eager and excited to make some plays. He did not have many success on some plays. He actually hit the post. He was one of the players that hit the post. He had a shot at the second half. That shot went right into the post. Before that, Octavio Rivero, the new striker for Atlas, also had a chance in the first half. His shot also went to the post, and also in the first half, Clifford Aboyeu tried from long distance outside the area, and his shot was also denied by the post. I mean, you could say that Atlas did not play at its fully potential that they could show us for this season, but they certainly played a lot better than Querétaro. Querétaro just waited and sit back pretty much the whole game, trying to escape with the points, which was exactly what they accomplished at the end of the game. It was a disappointing draw. You could say that it's the start of the season, and they will have more games to try to redeem that score. But it's not. Let's say it's better to start gaining some points at the start of the season, so you could be in a better position to qualify to the Liguilla later months. after. Let's go now over to the Wednesday game, the Copa MX Week 1 game that they played of the group stage of the Copa MX 2018 Apertura. They received the Ascenso team's Club Atlético Zacatepec, and they unfortunately they lost. They had a loss. They lost 2-1 to Zacatepec. On the other hand, just comparing the game to the Querétaro one, Atlas did not play very well in this game. Coach Espinosa made several changes on the starting formation. It was mostly a second unit team. What are your thoughts on that weird game, that disappointing loss against Zacatepec?
Yeah, the team didn't perform well at first. The the game really looked out of order with with the ball remaining on the midfield. The Zacatepec first goal definitely put things very difficult for Atlas. Then came the goal for Atlas that give hope to the fans that they could
Yeah, they could win the match.
they could win the match.
I mean, it was like my co-host Suku said, it was a weird match. Atlas couldn't settle all night into the game. They looked out of sorts, out of their game. I don't know. So it's most you could say it was made by the efforts of the visiting team. As Suku said, Zacatepec put themselves on top very quickly. It's a weird shot and rebound by the sub goalkeeper Edgar Hernandez gave them the chance to score. For that first goal was made by Juan de Dios Hernandez. That received a pass in which the other player looked like he could be offside. We saw later the replay, and the player was on fair game by a foot or something. Like we said, Atlas had some trouble competing after the goal, and Zacatepec was creating some chances. The two players who tried to make stuff happening was the two strikers, Jefferson Duque and Angelo Martinez. The latter one had a shot, a header that hit the crossbar again at the 37th minute. And after the goal, Edgar Hernandez made some crucial saves, trying to amend his early mistake in the Zacatepec goal. And as we said, I mean, all game Atlas La Academia couldn't make themselves comfortable in either the first or the second half. Few chances were presented for both teams. I mean, one of the most clear chances was the Zacatepec player almost scoring an own goal. That, I mean, Atlas looked a little bit lost on the pitch, and as you said, a magic play by youngster Christopher Trejo was the play that tied the game. He dribbled past several defenders and scored on that one.
Yeah, he definitely looked good. He was born in the year 2000. I
Yeah,
think
I think.
I think he has 18 years old, very young player. Definitely looked good in that play. Duque is still having bad luck.
Yeah, he's kind of always in a bad position. I mean, the play is created itself, and the ball comes to him, and he's not on that position to to make things happen, to score.
Yeah, because there were a few plays where Rifle Andrade makes the cross, and he was on either
Yeah, on
the right position, or
the
he
right
was
position.
late, or the ball the ball didn't came to him at time, and he definitely looked desperate to make a goal.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's trying. I mean, he just looks some out of rhythm. I mean, he barely played with Morelia and last semester. I don't know. I mean, he had some tough time in Atlas since 2016, and definitely this wasn't his game. That the Trejo played created some spark in the stadium with the fans, and they tried to rally the team so they could win. And then this let's say it's one of the most bizarre plays I've ever seen. The referee Alejandro Funk put literally a basketball screen on an Atlas player that was trying to defend the play, and that freed Oscar Macias from Zacatepec, who didn't miss, and ultimately gave the visitors the victory. What do you think about that that funky play about the referee making a screen?
I was definitely mad at the referee. I think he 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 can be inside the penalty box that close to the play.
Yeah, that's one of the things we've been discussing in in today's in today's preparation of this podcast. I mean, I don't know which is the rule, but I'm not sure if the ref is allowed to be on the area.
I mean, he it's not a rule. It's not against the rule, but it's definitely a weird position for a referee to be on. Uh, they
Yeah.
usually stand like very little outside the penalty box, like
Yep.
in a corner. Uh, but yeah, he was very close to the play. He interfered with the play, unfortunately, but he couldn't do nothing. I mean, it's the referee is like part of the field, so if the ball touches him, if a player touches him, it's fair game.
A person who wasn't that upset about the ref play was Coach Gerardo Espinosa, who at the press conference said some things about the young rule that the Copa MX have, about the captaincy of Juan Pablo Higuón, and about the game against Zacatepec. Here's Coach Espinosa.
Me deja muy intranquilo definitivamente hoy el funcionamiento de mi equipo. Habían venido trabajando muy bien todos estos muchachos. Hoy simplemente no tuvieron un gran partido. En definitiva considero que habrá que calmarse un poquito y ver bien detalladamente el video, observar muchas cosas, muchos puntos. Platicaré mañana con ellos, observar también sus actitudes, ver cómo están, sacar las mejores conclusiones y en definitiva empezar a preparar ya también el partido del sábado. Sí, alcanzo a ver el video ahí y sí, Jairo va y choca con el árbitro, pero bueno, son circunstancias del juego, para nada culparlo. Me parece que tenemos que hacer muchas mejores cosas para no tenernos a una situación. Primero que nada, todos ellos los pongo porque tienen un lugar dentro del plantel, no por exclusivamente la regla. Nos hemos venido preparando para eso. Jairo, por ejemplo, es año 2000 y tiene total confianza y es un gran muchacho con gran capacidad y que no por la regla está jugando. Carlos Robles, igual, es un muchacho muy joven, pero también viene trabajando muy bien y se le da un lugar porque lo merece. Y con algunos otros muchachos de igual forma vienen participando, suman minutos y no por el hecho de la regla te repito, sino porque ahí están y están en un día a día ganándose ese lugar.
Well, that was Coach Espinosa on the press conference after the Zacatepec game. He looks like he's trusting his young team on rebounding after the loss and draw they had so far in this semester. We'll talk about the men's team a little bit more into the program. Now let's go to a little bit of a recap in the Clásico Tapatío game that was played between Chivas and Atlas Femenil on the Jalisco Stadium on Saturday morning. I think Atlas deserved a little bit more in that game, but Chivas capitalized on their chances and they won 2-0. Zuku, what do you think what are your thoughts on that game?
Atlas Femenil had the same problem as the first game against Morelia. In the first half, they had several chances. Chivas couldn't get out of their side of the field. Uh, there were some minor changes. It was almost the same starting lineup except for Mitzi Mitzi Ramirez starting on the left, no, on the right back instead of Samara Alcala, y Natalia Duarte coming back to the starting lineup for Ana Rodriguez. No, Natalia Duarte for Maritza Maldonado, who was playing at the wing. So Robles played at the right wing, and Natalia Duarte was on Robles' position. Ana Rodriguez started for Andrea. Ana Rodriguez, it was surprisingly not did not start on the first game against Morelia. Now she does, and she looked very good. Again, the two main strikers for Atlas were the only good side of the team. Um, they 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 still the team still struggling to get the first goal of the tournament, which is um, not good for the moral of the team. Not able to score in the first two games, and yeah, as you said, Chivas made their chances count. First in a defense error,
Yep.
where Chivas striker was left alone against the keeper and scored. And the second one, Atlas was all up front, uh, and a counter attack, a simple pass to a clear net for the second goal for Chivas.
Yeah, it was a disappointing game for the Atlas women's team, and now they look forward to a maybe even tougher game on Monday night, as they will travel to Monterrey to face the reigning champs Tigres at 8 p.m. Mexico City time. That's gonna be a rough game for las rojinegras.
Yeah, definitely the most difficult match in the group. Playing uh, playing playing the reigning champions Tigres. A weird match for the ex Tigres players now playing against their former team, that being the goalkeeper, Paz, and the main striker for Atlas.
Finally, to close out this second episode of the Paradero Podcast, we will talk about the next game of the men's team, which will be Saturday nights at the Azteca Stadium, facing Club America. Uh, you could say that both teams didn't start their seasons as they would have hoped. Atlas miscues up front, hitting three times the post, as we just said, and missing a penalty against Querétaro were a little costly. The Querétaro team escaped with a draw, and on the other hand, America lost to Necaxa at Aguascalientes 2-1, and their defense didn't look very good. Mm, I mean, at this point, I think both teams need the win, so a little bit of urgency could play a part on this one. What do you think about this next game up against America?
I mean, it's very difficult to exactly expect something clear for both teams. Definitely, both of the teams didn't start as they expected. Atlas didn't get the win, and America get their first loss of the season right in the first game. Uh, Atlas has, I think they historically they play really good at the Azteca Stadium. I don't know exactly the statistics on that, but
Yeah, if I'm gonna talk about that statistics a little bit later. I mean, you could say that America will truly try to have this home opener for them as a win, as a poor display against Necaxa with one has some clouds surrounding the team and their coach Miguel Herrera. As I said earlier, they had mistakes in the back, costing them the 2 goals in their defeat. And well, it's America. The expectations on this team are always the highest, and a loss to Atlas this Saturday could even put more pressure on Herrera. One of the bright spots of America's game against Necaxa was striker Roger Martinez, the Colombian striker recently loaned from Villarreal of the first division in Spain, as he scored the only goal of the night. And also Atlas will face a familiar player against America, left back Luis Reyes, who was sold to America in the offseason. Reyes is part of a weak, you could say, a weak America defensive backline. That's something that Atlas could take advantage of.
Yeah, definitely. Reyes didn't came out as good as way back when he played really good and got called for the Mexican national team. He was a very weak player at the end of his Atlas career, and now with America, I mean the defense don't look as solid, so maybe Atlas can get some goals.
In the last 5 games played between these two teams at the Azteca Stadium, Atlas has the statistical advantage, winning 4 of their recent 5 visits to Mexico City, with America winning the last game played. And overall, in the last 5 games played in either Guadalajara or Mexico City, America edges Atlas with 3 victories. Los Rojinegros have won the other 2 games, and finally, you could say that America has a 3-win streak versus Atlas, and they haven't lost to Atlas since the Copa MX Apertura 2017, when they lost 1-0 to Atlas at the Azteca. The formation for Atlas, we think that Coach Espinosa is going to repeat the same starting lineup that he used against Querétaro with Pepe Hernandez at the goalie, Calderon Jimenez, Omar Gonzalez, and Ismael Govea at the back line. The 3 midfielders, Lorenzo Reyes, Clifford Aboye, and Juan Pablo Vigon. And up front, Andrés Andrade, Brian Guernica, and Octavio Rivero. Again, this match will be played on Saturday night at the Azteca Stadium, 7 p.m. Mexico City time, and will be streamed by Televisa on Mexico. Well, this is the end of the second episode of the Paradero Podcast. As you know, you could follow us on our social media accounts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as Paradero Boys, and on our webpage www.paraderoboys.com, where you can watch all and read all the updates and previews and recaps of the team. This is your host, Ramon. We're very excited to continue this project of the Paradero Podcast. I was joined by my co-host, Suku. We would like to wish you a very nice weekend, and we will see you next week.